We just got off a ship and we had more fun than we've ever had on a cruise.
And it's not the fun ship that you're thinking of. So we recently cruised on the Marella Discovery. Marella Cruises typically cruises in Europe or sometimes in the Caribbean in the winter, but they were doing a special itinerary for the first time around Florida.
They were.
And so we just thought we'd jump on and take the opportunity to see what Marella cruising is all about.
We have heard from fellow cruisers that they love Marella and they've had fun on them, so we wanted to check it out for ourselves.
So like any other cruise, we showed up and we thought, you always get into that, vacation mode that you're ready to go. It's party time the second your feet hit the ship. And sure it was.
Yeah, it's true. We got on board and we thought, well, we like to have a welcome aboard drink. And so, what do you do when you first get on board on a nice sunny day out of Florida is you go and order your first cocktail on board. So we did that.
Yeah, after we did that, we explored, we poked around the ship. It's just routine business of getting on a ship for the first time. Let's figure out what it's all about. Where is everything? Where are the restaurants? We looked at the menus. We did all the stuff you do typically on the first day on a ship.
Right. Trying to get the lay of the land.
Yeah. Now for us, it was a little bit different because we didn't fly into the cruise. So we had to bring on our own luggage, which actually worked to our benefit because we were able to get all of our luggage in our cabin right away. So that was helpful right off the bat. So we were able to get that out of the way and move on to cruising without waiting for that luggage to eventually come.
It's true. That might have kick-started our day of fun, really, because we were unpacked and settled in our cabin by very early in the afternoon. And so then we were able to go and enjoy the beautiful ship that we were on.
Yeah, we stopped by the main atrium and the bar was there as usual. As you get on a cruise, that's typically one of the first bars you see. Everybody's having that, getting aboard cocktail.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation with the bartender that kind of made us wonder.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's interesting. So we thought, okay, well, we'll just see. Everybody's in a good mood. Staff are really friendly. It's always that getting on the ship. And sometimes it's the best day of the whole week is that getting on the ship because you're finally on vacation.
Yeah, for sure.
So the first night comes and we wander on down. We do our thing. We go check out the entertainment. We've had, at this point, a wonderful meal in the main dining room. In fact, the main dining room, we were kind of surprised, had one level that was traditional food, British food and even, North American food. And upstairs was another dining room. Usually it's two levels in a dining room like this, that's the same, but it was different upstairs.
Yeah, so it was an Italian restaurant upstairs, but it was included. It wasn't a specialty restaurant. You didn't have to pay. And so I guess that added to the fun because we decided, well, let's go try this specialty free restaurant for our first night. And we had a wonderful meal at the Italian restaurant.
Yeah, and right off the bat, we were surprised that, usually we've gotten used to ships, lineups and waiting for dinner and everybody's waiting to get into the dining room, that as soon as it opens. Didn't really feel like that. Like people were kind of spaced out doing their things and we really didn't think much of it. And yeah, we went up and we didn't have to wait at all, walked straight in, had a wonderful meal. It wasn't crowded. We weren't cramped in there. The tables were well spaced and right off the bat, we were having a great time.
For sure.
And then first night, we do our usual thing, which is go to the main theater. And like other cruise ships, Marella does kind of a welcome aboard, kind of a little bit of a sampler of what's to come in the week ahead.
Yes, and the sampler was very eye-opening because we were blown away with the talent that we saw in the sampler show. So we thought right then, wow, if this is what the entertainment's going to be like, this is going to be a fantastic cruise.
Yeah, and right off that, we started to get a feeling from the other passengers that, everyone else was there felt the same as us. They were going there just to have a good time. There was, everybody was being polite to everybody. The staff was being treated well by the passengers. The staff was very friendly, not only to the passengers, but each other. They seemed like there was a good team in place.
Yes.
And so right off the bat, we got a really good feeling from Marella. It was like, wow, this is a lot of fun. But in saying that, we've kind of noticed a pattern in all years of cruising that, it always feels like the first night is one of the better nights on a cruise.
Yeah.
And not sure if that's just because that
you're so happy to start your vacation or if they just go above and beyond the first night. I don't know.
Yeah, we always wondered if it was deliberate. The cruises really push hard. We've also noticed that usually the last night is the same way. Like the last night on the ship and it's like, oh, I don't want to get off. I just had the best night of the whole week. And we've always wondered, again, is that deliberate? Do they plan it so that the best nights are the first when you get on and the last when you get off so you want to come back and do it all over again?
Right.
And so anyways, the first night, we're not surprised that the first night on a cruise is usually, a really fun night.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in doing the exploration, we had found an area called the Glass House that really impressed us. We thought, wow, this is like a really interesting space. But I also thought, this is going to be a zoo. Any other ship with a space like this, we're never going to get a seat here.
Right.
But, so we wake up the next day.
And we go up to the Glass House, and there was one other couple there.
Yep.
So we had the place to ourselves, which was so beautiful, really.
Yeah.
We had a lovely day there, exploring, relaxing, great service, because there was bar staff going around. There was a restaurant right attached to the Glass House, so you were steps away from having lunch if you wanted it. It was just a fabulous first day on board.
And for us, I think that worked in our favor because other passengers were getting off and doing their own thing. It was a port day, so we made it a ship day. So that always helps in those situations. But even still, it was very quiet, peaceful. The service was still there. Just like, you know, it didn't matter if it was a lot of people or a few people. It was the same level of service. We didn't notice any gap at all just because it was only us in that space.
Yeah, that's true.
And then again, we went and had another wonderful dinner that night. We went to the main dining room that night. And again, went above and beyond. Food's really good. We went to the main theater, and again, it was like, wow, what a good show.
But where that got even better for us is the main shows were phenomenal, so much so that I think we watched that one twice that night.
And I will always love you.
I
Yeah, I
believe
think
it
we
was
did.
that night. We were so blown away. But then from there, you had the Squid and Anchor, where they were doing shows like game shows and trivia shows unlike any that we've ever seen on a cruise ship, that were all sort of team interactive, and didn't matter that we didn't know anybody else on the ship. Within minutes we were friends with people on the same team, getting involved in, you know, sports trivia. A lot of it was trivia that we had no idea, but we had fun playing it, and it was all a great time. And then from there, there's live bands coming in and playing. Then there's another venue called the Live Bar, where they had different singers playing all night long. There was so much entertainment that you didn't know where your priority was to be there. It was so much fun. You could just pop from venue to venue and have a great time.
Yeah, and at the same time, there was a bar at the top of the ship called Bar 11, and there was people up there that you could go dancing. There was also, you know, late night buffets that were going on around the ship, different venues at different times. There was always food to be had. So by the second night, we're thinking, wow, this is really good. 2 nights in a row, like, Marella, you're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, you know, 3, 4, 5 days into the cruise, and we stopped and thought, hold on. Every day was at least as good as the first, but maybe even a little bit better each time.
And I think the night that it happened for me, that I realized I don't think I've ever had so much fun on any cruise ship, was the night that we were in Tampa, docked overnight, and they had the Lido deck party up on deck late in the evening with the lights of the city of Tampa shining on, and what a party that was.
Yeah, and you're probably saying to yourself, well, hold on, yeah, you know, all the ships we've been on have all those same things happening.
Right.
But what kind of caught us at that moment was, hold on, every single day and every night has been like this.
Right.
Every night has had a fantastic show. There's never an off light where there's nothing in the theater. Every night had live bands around the ship. There was never a night where there was nothing going on. And it continued to grow each day, and then the deck party. And what was really nice is the fun was there in any way you wanted to do it. There was no what I call organized fun, where you have to go and there's like an activity that you have to join in and do, otherwise you don't really be part of it.
And I mean, they did do a few things like that, but they had silent disco. The dance floor was packed. They had live bands in the live room. The dance floor was packed. They had deck parties. The dance floor was packed. It was everywhere we went. Ocean 11, the dance floor was packed.
Yeah, even those Squid and Anchor, you know, trivia type of shows that they had on, like usually you're struggling to get people involved and people are just kind of sitting back and watching.
Yeah.
The whole room, like people were running across the entire venue to try to go up and answer a question
And
at the
help
front
out
of the room.
their fellow teammates.
Yeah, there'd be a part in the competition where they divide the room in half, and it'd be like, okay, everybody on the dance floor, the most people on the dance floor gets more points for their team. And literally the whole venue fills with people on the dance floor.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd never seen so much involvement and also so much free-spirited kind of activities.
It was joyful.
Yeah, everybody was there every single day having the best day of their cruise. And it happened night after night, which we've never seen. We've had nights where it's like, oh, nothing much going on tonight. Maybe we'll just catch a movie, or we'll, relax in the cabin and go to bed early and rest up for tomorrow. There was never that. They never stopped. The fun kept going all night long, and to the point where we felt like the old people, even though there was people
a lot of people out partying way later than us, for sure, still on the dance floors.
Midnight,
past us.
2 in the morning, they were still going, even when we were going to bed, and we were amazed. We'd never seen a ship that maintained that level of activity, that much fun, that much going on, that continued right all into the evening, and it didn't kind of wind down.
It's true.
Yeah, it kind of blew us away. And so by the time we're hitting day 6 and day 7, we were astonished. That just kept going, and that kind of became our new normal.
Yes.
And at that point, that's when I turned and I said, that this reminds me so much of cruising when we first started. I think those very first cruises we took back in the day, in our early days of traveling on Carnival, there was always something going on. It was a free-spirited fun. There was very little constructed activities where it was more just kind of join in and have a good time. Yeah. And this was our first cruise all over again, is what it felt like to me. And the nice thing about Marella is, everything's included too. The drinks are included. Everybody's on the same beverage package. Kind of, there's a premium option that's really affordable. Yeah. And not only that, what really caught us off guard as we ended the cruise was we looked back and looked at the price we paid. We paid the same for this cruise that you'd usually pay for a normal cruise without a drink package.
Without a drink package.
Without all those perks. But we already had tips included. We had drinks included. It was all right there. Had main dining room with multiple dining options that were also included.
Yeah, so many different options for dining. There was, like we said earlier, the Italian that was a free specialty. Also, the Glass House turned into a sit-down tapas restaurant at night that was free and included.
Yep.
And then, of course, you had the main dining room and the buffet that were all very well done too. So there was lots of inclusive options. You didn't feel like you were on a cruise ship where they were always trying to upsell you for something else. And that's what, we've seen a lot on other cruise lines. That's sort of taken away from the joy of relaxing and but never once did anybody approach us to buy something or
nobody
like
came to us, even bothered us about upgrading our drink package. If we wanted to look into it and do it, we could, but nobody tried to sell us. There's not even a booth set up saying, would you like to? It was just, if you wanted to do it, it was available, but we're not going to sell you on it. There was nobody trying to get you to buy specialty dining for a certain night with a deal that was on. There was none of that. There was nobody saying, just show up to the shopping show and we're going to tell you where to go shopping at the port. There was nothing like that. That was kind of the upsell that you feel on cruise ships these days.
Right. No, we didn't feel that. No. We didn't come across it, not once.
Yeah. And I think that when we look back at how cruising started for us and where it's evolved with a lot of cruise lines, that they've pulled away a lot of those perks. A lot of the main theater shows have been pulled back as well and replaced with other activities, and sometimes no activities in the evenings. And for this cruise line, and in our situation, it was 1,800 people on the Marella Discovery, to have that level of entertainment consistently every single night, plus everything else going on the ship with all the musicians and everything that happened. Still to this moment, as we're recording this video, just kind of shocks me that they're able to do that with those few people on board.
Yeah,
there was no loss in quality or quantity of entertainment. You would have thought you were on a ship with thousands more people, where they had a bigger ship to do all this with. So they've really done a great job. And even though Marella ships are typically ships from other cruise lines that they've purchased, they do them up, they modernize them, they clean them up, and they look fantastic. We would have never guessed it was an older ship.
No, it's true. The renovations that they had done on board were fabulous. Glass House was absolutely gorgeous and modern, and a sanctuary to spend, all included, that you would pay for on other ships. The other thing I would mention about it that just sort of, the way they operated things, that you can tell that they thought out, and that just added to the fun. So for instance, going to the main theater, they had a mobile bar set up at each entranceway that you could easily get a drink and go and sit down. No lines, no trying to get waiter service before the show starts. It was grab and go. And they had that at the deck party. They had that at different venues throughout the whole cruise. So you were never like, oh, I've been waiting a half an hour to get a drink order. It didn't happen.
Yeah, there was like big tubs of beer that were in big containers of ice, literally at the exits of the buffet, for example. You just walk out, you can grab them. There's nobody there monitoring or making you sign a shit or counting how many drinks. There's no drink limit on Marella.
Yeah.
And you just grab a couple of beers, and a lot of people did, double-fisted. They grabbed them, and off they went to the next
Yeah.
venue. And we never saw like an abuse of alcohol. It was
No.
people having drinks and having a good time, but it was never,
An
you know,
issue.
it wasn't like this crazy fall-over party ship where you didn't want to be there because it was out of control.
No.
Never reached that level despite the access to alcohol
Right.
and all the venues that were around.
There was more than once that we were just in the atrium after dinner and just sitting down and enjoying whatever live music was there. There was a piano player some nights, a guitar player, different things going on. And all of a sudden you'd see a bartender come through with a tray full of drinks with a drink of the day, just offering it out. So one day he came by with a whole bunch of Long Islands. Would you like a Long Island? Another day it was Prosecco. Another day it was a different cocktail. So things like that was just sort of added to just get everybody involved and feel like you're a part of what's going on in each venue.
Yeah, there was so much going on, and we couldn't possibly explain it all. But definitely go and watch our vlog series, and you'll see everything that happened every day. There was musical tea. There was tea time at the buffet. We've never. There was so many things that it's hard to list them all. We were blown away.
Yeah.
And I don't think it matters whether you are from the UK or another part of the world, or even from America or Canada in our case, that you can have a great time on this cruise, and it's a great option. And they're relatively new to North America. Mm-hmm. But I would say for those North American cruise lines that are already established and going, and advertise that there's a lot of fun, they better watch out, because I think Marella's upped the game and they've set a new standard. They have.
Absolutely.
They've shown that in this era of cruising now, it's not all about pulling back what used to be there. It's adding more value and going what we always said about cruising, above and beyond expectations.
Absolutely.
Which is what it was just about every single day and every event that we went to on Marella. So well done, Marella. I'm not sure how you're doing it, but you blew us away. And this, by perspective, this was our 37th cruise and probably one of our best we've ever had. Yeah. Yeah.
We had a fabulous time.
So if you have a chance to get a Marella cruise, look into it. And yeah, I'm sure that if you want to have a lot of fun on a cruise, it's a wonderful place to spend your vacation dollars.
It is.
So thanks for watching, everybody. Like I said, check out our vlog series on the rest of our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see everything we did every single day on board, and it was a great time.
It was.